I've asked all the people I've interviewed so far, talk about getting your, not a question, but just talk a little bit about getting your reel together for the Jim Nantz Award and what kind of process that.
Yeah, fortunately, I had a college friend who sent me the Jim Nantz info and said, "Hey, you should do this." It was something that I was like, "Oh, I really didn't have that much." I think I heard about it before, but it was a new award that I was like, "All right, I'll do it." And I honestly was sitting at a coffee shop on my laptop. A senior in college, you have all your stuff on hand, and I always was working on a website to promote myself and try to get a job right out of school. Um, and so I had sort of a reel together, but looking at the specific guidelines for the Jim Nantz Award, it was extended. It wasn't just like a flash reel, like it was longer clips that I had to really focus on. So I actually sent one in. John Chalesnik sent me a note back, "Hey, we need a little bit longer clips here." And it was just a bit of a different reel that I'd ever made, but I really appreciated that judging factor. Like they really wanted to see just full clips and not just see a flash reel. And then the end, just different work. I think I had a radio show. Well, I know I had a radio show in college, but the clip had like 6 or 7 minutes long, just of straight live radio, just to see how that all went out. So it was definitely a different reel assembly, but I could really appreciate what, all the factors they were looking for. So.
And you send it in. Are you thinking, yeah, I have a good chance? I have no idea. Here I am at St. Cloud State. It's not, Missouri or Syracuse or
right.
Western. What was going through your mind?
I love this question because even when I was talking about eventually getting the award, when I sent that reel in, Dave, I was like, I was completely just looking for feedback. In a national award, all I wanted was, just a Minnesota girl. I knew maybe the Minnesota accent was something to work on, but I always wanted things from other feedback on just what to be working on. And so I completely sent it in for that regard. Like, I just want to hear what other people have to say and how I could get better. And this feedback was way more than I could have ever imagined. And I'm so grateful still for it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I completely sent it in just for, other eyes to look at my work and see how I can improve.
So he live streamed the announcement, right?
Yep.
Of the names. So he starts doing the names, and what's going through your mind as he's ticking down the list?
Well, when I didn't hear mine, I was like, okay, literally, I would like to consider myself pretty humble, because when I didn't hear my name in the, sixth, fifth, getting closer, I was like, okay, well, I probably didn't get it. That's okay. Kind of just, I don't know. I think for me, it was that going back to why I sent my reel in for the feedback. It was just that whole nothing to lose mentality that I was like, you know what? This is cool to watch this and be a part of this and see, honestly, the other people too that were a part of the award ceremony, and just meet other Syracuse and other college students that do exactly what I do and want to do exactly what I do. But yeah, I mean, eventually as we got higher and higher and then I heard it, it was.
Congratulations to the 2018 Jim Nantz Award winner, a senior from St. Cloud State University, Katie Emmer.
Disbelief, and I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, it started to hit me a little bit, but even to this day, I'm still just, it was so fun, and it's completely changed I would say changed my life. It really helped out after that.
So. And then part of that was obviously coming here for the awards weekend. What were your expectations in coming here? Did you have any idea what it was like?
Well, I'd never been to Winston-Salem before. Brought my mom with me, and she was a travel agent when she was my age, so she's used to traveling all over and rating trips. She had like the best job ever. But she had been in that area but had never been to Winston-Salem as well. So just with her background with traveling, she was ready to just hop in with me. We drove out there, which was crazy, and not too crazy. It was a fun little road trip. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of was just, I was really thinking this was maybe, it's hard because it was all still so new to me. And I was thinking, okay, this might be, I knew it was a little bit of a big award ceremony, but I really didn't know what it was until I got there and had all the different sessions, how many people go to this. And it was so cool to learn about it. But yeah, I'd never been to Winston-Salem. I remember that week. It was super hot, and I was like, just a good old summer getaway in a way. But it was fun to walk around that city, a bit quiet in different areas, but just meeting all of you in person, it was so fun. I would recommend it to anybody. So.
And while you were here, as you said, you walked around a little bit. I mean, we kind of packed a lot of stuff into that 3 days.
Well, there was an event the first day where I remember I specifically met you. And what I remember from that night was just sitting at different tables. I don't know if that's everyone that goes to that, but it was fun to meet everybody and do there was some sort of sports Jeopardy that was going on. And that was really fun.
A little sports
trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. There were so many different events packed into a 3-day extravaganza. I really enjoyed, leading up to the banquet, I really enjoyed the sessions. I was always busy going back and forth, and I really enjoyed, I hope this would be the same case, the hotel, everything was so close. You could just go right over and catch everything. And I just really enjoyed meeting other people at those sessions and learning from other speakers. It was so informative and just learned a lot. But leading up to the banquet, I enjoyed that whole night. I got to meet Kevin Harlan and Olivia Harlan-Decker is his daughter. And just like seeing all these people in person that, a girl like me in college would always look up to. Right. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but even stepping up on the stage and accepting this Jim Nantz award and looking at it's just reality set in that moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, what was I going to say? But you're just kind of overcome with just how many great people show up to this event. And that night was one I won't ever forget.
Of course, it might have been my favorite picture from the whole awards weekend is when we had the 4 ESPN personalities.
Oh my goodness.
The message.
Hello, everybody. You got the whole crew here at the Women's College World Series. Beth Mowens, Holly Rowe,
Jessica Mendoza,
Michelle Smith.
We'd like to say hello to everybody at the National Sports Media Association, and we would love to congratulate right now Katie Emmer. Woohoo, Katie! The Jim Nantz Award for Best College Sportscaster. First of all, there's no better mentor or a person to look up to than Jim Nantz. He's been a great help to a lot of us in this profession, and we all wanted to be here for you because you're going to find a lot of great people, and we love to help each other in this profession as well.
Women can be competitive with each other, and it's a competitive business, but I think that we've found a way to be supportive and competitive, but lift each other up. So that's what I would hope that you will do in your career.
Congrats, Katie.
And Katie, very proud of you. Congratulations. And remember, chicks need the long ball.
It's a fun business. You never work
Katie.
a day in your life.
Have a great career. Woo!
And you looking up at that video board with, oh my gosh, right? That was a surprise we pulled off pretty well.
Oh my gosh, it was so amazing. And I'm always grateful to all of you for that video, for the video from Jim Nantz, just things that I can keep with me for the rest of my life. That was something I was not expecting. Jessica Mendoza was always one I loved to watch baseball with my dad with, just being like, that is so cool. Cause I was a softball player too. Never went to the Olympics, but yeah, it's just some of those former athletes that are now turned broadcasters, especially women that I just looked up to. And I was literally looking up to them, the Jumbotron, and they're saying my name. And it was the craziest feeling ever. It was really cool. But I'm happy to have that video forever to look back on it. So.
So you get, a little bit before that, you make the speech. Were you nervous going up?
Yeah. Yeah, like college student, still getting used to the whole broadcast journalism career that I'm jumping into. And I even think with broadcast journalism, you're used to talking to cameras, and talking in front of physical people is a bit of a different thing. And I since then have tried to get more public speaking events, so you get used to it. But in that moment, like I said, looking out on the crowd and seeing all these legends that I'm talking to, and I'm the college award here, like, hey, I want to be you guys when I grow up, but let me tell you some inspiring words. It was a bit different, but it was fun. It was, again, and I have a video of that. There's just moments I'm so happy I went and got to do that. So
what did it mean to have your mom there?
She's the best. She's love my dad too. But my mom, I'm an only girl with 6 brothers, as you probably know. So my mom is sort of that sister, also mom, also best friend. She's just always been that person for me. So having her come with, I just remember giving her the shout out, and she's just got her phone. Like, she's just always so excited. She's anybody's mom, everybody has that good cheerleader. And for me, it's fortunately Miss Jackie Emmer. So she's great. yeah, she was super excited. And again, I'm the only girl for her. So she just loves living vicariously through sort of my different career that I went down instead of her. So she's great. I'm happy to have her.
And I bet she's happy to have you home for a little while,
Yes.
despite the
No.
circumstances.
Yes. No, she's having fun putting people to work in a good way, but she loves having the kids around. So
I bet. You drove to, I remember where you were going, like Baltimore or something?
Yep.
To fly back?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was, it's cheaper to, I hate to say that, but I mean, it was a better option just because my dad is working out in the DC area every so often. So we were out in Baltimore and then we just took a rental car and that was the road trip. So again, it wasn't from Minnesota, but it was a fun little road trip down there. And now I live out there. So I can sort of get right back to that whole trek we took down to Winston-Salem on the East Coast. So it was a good little bonding experience in a small Hyundai Sonata. So.
Yes. Well, hopefully, if the hockey season, we've now timed it so the Stanley Cup Finals are over the week before our awards weekend, so you'll have to come back now.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to do I think a Jim Nantz Award winner panel during the Sports Media Convergence Summit on Monday.
I think it would be so fun and a fun story for you just with the past award recipients. It's been that family that, right away, once I did win it, it's just a text message coming in from Josh Appel and the different winners. And it's fun to just join this family that grows throughout my career. For example, Alex Faust was at a game at Wells Fargo Center because he is the play-by-play for the Kings. Yep. So fun to finally meet him in just those different moments. Like I said, you're just added to this family that you have this connection to people. So it's fun to keep in touch. In the past winner, Drew Carter too, just a great friend, so talented. And the years ahead, it's really fun to be added to this family. And hopefully I could make it back and see the other winners.
And you were the first woman to win the award. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. For me, the most important part is I'm happy to sort of set that tone for other women that can apply for this award and know that they can do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was a little hesitant to ask the question because I'm kind of sick of you were the one, we're all hopefully we're all the same.
You're completely on the same page as me. Yeah, just for I remember asking Michelle Tafoya this question on a phone interview because I was like, oh my gosh, I was on the phone with her for 5 minutes. It was like a year ago, and I asked her that question because it's so common. And she's like, Katie, the second you start thinking that way and asking these questions, you're going to separate yourself. So I always try to do it the right way because I personally have never had any I can't do this. Right. I'm always ready to go. But truly, though, for that award, for it's really fun to help out, grow the awareness for it for other women that can jump in. So.
Well, there has to be a first before there's everybody else. So.
Right. So I'm happy to be that first for sure.
Where are you in birth order in your family?
Right in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. So 3 older, 3 younger. Forgot what my dad calls me, the counselor for the 3 older and mentor for the 3 younger, something like that. So
I like that.
I have a job on both sides. It's really fun. And everyone's always like, you poor thing. I'm like, I didn't know any different. I thought everyone had 6 brothers.
What did you learn from all that? From being one of
growing
6?
up?
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is I just think, especially going into sports and how much I love them, I just think my brothers made me so competitive. I don't want to credit them with everything because I did have a competitive side, but they definitely just growing up instilling that toughness and just being competitive because I always wanted to be playing with them and keeping up with them. Little 4 or 5-year-old Katie. My mom would always say that I always wanted to keep up and be a part of their groups and what they were doing. So I would credit them for, making me tough. And again, life is tough. So there's a lot of things I credit them for. And my love of sports, just growing up in hockey rinks, watching them play and different tournaments, the whole family would go with. And baseball too. Anything. So it's a big family affair, love of sports.
Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm remembering this correctly, but favorite sport was what? Was it basketball?
Hockey. It was hockey.
It was. Okay.
I didn't play. So here's the thing. I played until 4th grade.
Okay.
And going back to the brother situation, it was that whole, it's not for you. Like that whole competitive side that I did sort of feel like, you know what, I want to go do something that they couldn't like critique me on how I'm shooting and how I'm stopping and skating. I just want to do something else. And that was basketball. So I would have to say though, hockey's just forever the favorite sport. Working in it now, it's even more fun. But as far as when I played, it would have to be, basketball. So.
And so you still had some school to complete when you left, I remember.
Yeah, whole crazy scenario, but I transferred to the school that I graduated from and had that half of a year that I still had. So once I finished 3 years, it was a half of a year left. And yeah, I took 16 credits online and was taking like a class from this school in Minnesota, another class from this school in Minnesota, and then doing one in person at another school just to get through. Because St. Cloud, I was taking at least 2 or 3 classes at St. Cloud, but I just had to get like 2 other ones that weren't a part of the summer curriculum. So pretty busy summer. And I think all of that, I got through the like first 2 or 3 classes of the summer right before the award ceremony. And then I still had homework to do. So I remember being there in the hotel room and applying for another class or 2 that I had to take. It was absolute chaos, but it's completely me just waiting to take like stats the last minute and take it all online. It was really fun. I loved it.
I bet it was. So when you got through. So then, actually, I want to go back a little bit. When first time you appeared on camera was when?
It was a football game, St. Cloud State versus Minot State, Minot, North Dakota. It's a team that was, I think, 1-13 when they played us.
Minot.
And I interviewed that coach, and so nice. It was a great that coach at the time that I think is still there. I haven't really kept up as much, but he was just a really good, patient guy. But just that simple, and it wasn't even live. It was that pregame taped interview. That was the first ever time I've ever done anything, at least for our broadcast side of things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I learned really quickly. Like it's very natural to like hold a mic really far to him, and but yeah, I had a lot of good mentors at St. Cloud to help me out. So that was the first ever. I won't ever forget it too.
What did it take for you to feel comfortable on camera?
Just a lot of reps, and everyone's going to say that, right? Like it's so true though. I think of it a lot like sports, playing basketball or even catching in softball. Once you finally get the feel of what it's like to get down a block a ball from going behind home plate, like once you do that over and over and over, it's that muscle memory. Mm-hmm. So for broadcast, it was that same thing. As many interviews as I could. I don't care if it was with, we had a university news. So even if it was like a news interview or anything, that I'm just getting used to how close you're supposed to be and just feeling that comfortable barrier. Right. It's completely muscle memory. So
now we'll fast forward back. Awards weekend, you have all the school to finish, and then you're trying to get a job. How did that process work?
Wow, I actually haven't thought about this in a while, but
you had done some stuff for Fox Sports North, correct?
Yeah, so fortunately, our program at St. Cloud, and it was a part of my reel for the Jim Nantz Award, we would be put on the Fox Sports North air if they didn't have, a Wild game or anything going on that night, a Timberwolves game or anything. So that was so cool. And as a college student, you're thinking, wow, I'm on the station right now that I grew up watching. And, my friends and family in the cities were able to see us. We were only an hour. My school is only an hour outside of the Minneapolis area, but super fun to have that outlet to go to. So yeah, Fox Sports North knew about me. And there was different events like Hockey Day Minnesota. They were in St. Cloud. I was able to jump in and help out as a student, and it was the coolest experience ever. But yeah, just working too alongside all the people I grew up watching, like Marnie Gellner and Gorg, all the sideline and hosts and everything like that. But I would like to think, they were familiar with me. And I don't think at the time of the award ceremony, I was more so thinking, I hope I get done with school because I want to jump into working so bad. I was, you're just ready. Like when you're ready to get into the real world. And of course, all of us are like, oh, we miss college, because I really do. It was fun. I do love the real world though, too, just with how many things are available and the opportunities that I've been blessed with. But in that moment, yeah, I think Fox Sports North knew a little bit about me, but it didn't happen until the end of the summer. Mm-hmm. But, I was thinking I had apply for this job. And it was a huge story for me that your guard is not too high, but I applied for a job with the NHL, for example, as a team reporter, wanted it so bad and got turned down. And just that feeling of,
who did that?
I know, I'm thinking of, it was a job in Canada. So it was kind of too to get my degree done and things like that didn't work. And it was so exciting. And then you're kind of crushed and just that feeling of, is this ever going to work out? I know it was only one. Some people have even worse experiences, but just keeping that hope, because then a week later, here we are getting a call that, Fox Sports North wants me to work as a digital reporter, and it couldn't have been a better opportunity right out of school. So crazy summer indeed, especially following the award ceremony. But I believe, and I always will, that the Jim Nantz Award and that whole ceremony and following that, I mean, that award ceremony helped me out a ton. So just getting that awareness.
All right, and then so Fox Sports North for what, a year and change?
Just a year. Yeah.
And then?
And then no, it was the hardest thing to, decide to leave home. But I started at Fox in August, and then completely, the next August, here we are, one of the greatest opportunities for me, being a host of the Philadelphia Flyers on NBC Sports Philadelphia. And here I am thinking, Minnesota girl moving to the East Coast, this will be very interesting. But of course, accepted the job when I was offered it. And again, super hard to leave here and all my friends, and especially Fox Sports North. It was so hard to, but that's life. You have an opportunity. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to take the leap. And it's been so much fun. It's been so challenging living in a new city with nobody I know. It's also been challenging with a job with such high pressure maybe, and just more going on. And it's really cool to learn what you're capable of. So it's been a good time.
So did they come for you, or did you apply for that job?
So yeah, I mean, I have an agent working in New York, so he just gave me a call one day. I honestly just got done with a sand volleyball tournament, and I was like full of sand driving home, and he's like, "Hey, you need to pack your bags. You have an interview on Friday." I was like, "Okay, great. That's the life. You just you get used to being up in the air with anything." And again, he's great. He found a great opportunity. He knew I love hockey, and I wanted to get closer to that. So went out there, and the whole thing too is another part of just, this is all for experience. I just want to get used to trying out and getting this audition and doing this meeting and just meeting other, I guess, sports networks and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And got better feedback than I could expect in offer. So here we are. And again, Philadelphia has been so fun. I don't think I could have ever landed in a better sports area market. I mean, everybody is so passionate for their sports out there. So
So you, as a fairly young person in the business, have an agent. How did that process? What was the thought process in doing that?
Yeah, it was a subject that I didn't know everything about, and I feel like a lot of college students, you don't. I mean, you're not thinking about that. And it was kind of sort of scary, because you're thinking, is this the best move for me personally? Because for different people, I don't think it's for everyone. And I think, you have to really decide what you're thinking and what you want for yourself. But yeah, he contacted me actually following the Jim Nantz Award, following that weekend. And I think the biggest thing for why I liked him and why I decided to go there was just the communication. That you should have an agent that wants to work for you, and, it isn't the other way around. So, and also just a personable guy or girl, he's so great. He knows a lot about my family. They want to just invest in you and build you up. So, and also giving me feedback and things I could improve on. And that's, something I could never not want. So, yeah, fortunately with them and got to meet them in person, and here we are, and 2 years in, and I already have a pretty cool gig. So I'm really happy I did it. But yeah, it definitely is. You have to think a lot about your options here, and you got to think about the percentage and different things. So took some time. I had approval from my parents too. I think that was part of it. Mm-hmm. They listened in on a phone call, and he talked with my parents. And once you get your parents, you're like, okay, we're good now. Exactly. Even though you're an adult, you're like, I still want mom and dad to say yes or no. So
who is your agent, if I may ask?
Kevin Belby with the Monte Group. So, and he actually Drew Carter, I think, I believe too. So yeah, he's great. I love everyone there, especially like when I was working in Minneapolis last year, March Madness, they were all in town, and there's just always different things. And now I'm on the East Coast and they're in New York. So it's really nice.
What advice, now that you've been out and working a little bit, would you give yourself, the Katie of 2 years ago?
Probably just I'm really hard on myself with trying to be perfect every single show or every single hit. So I think just, hey, Katie, relax. I think we all are really hard on ourselves. I think we all want to be perfect in any job that we ever have. And right away for me, it was just I wanted to just be 20 years pro already, and I'm just right out of college. So just sometimes you make more problems for yourself than the actual problems are there. So I think for me, just telling myself to relax a bit and just be myself and learn that you're really going to make mistakes, and that's how you learn off of them. And I feel like even saying that out loud, how many times I've heard that and how maybe cliche it sounds, but it's so true. And now too, just having a show every other night, or when we did in the under 70 games we've had this season, hoping the season gets back soon. But just every night you learn that you're a human, you're going to make a little mistake, and it's all about how you respond to that, and just don't let it keep going downhill. And I think that's the biggest thing I've learned. And if I could have really instilled that 2 years ago and just understood that you're going to make mistakes and you have to accept it, then that would be really helpful.
Right. Now, is all your work now in studio?
Yes. I mean, as of now, it's a lot of writing in this moment of this NHL pause, but all season long, yep, it was every pre-intermission and post-game. And it's crazy. I mean, it's a full hour basically, and if not more, on air every single night. So you have a 30-minute pregame, and sometimes postgame's extended to fill time and breaks and everything. But yeah, I've been in studio. Thinking about it, I really never leave. I've done like one interview in the arena, but I love it because our offices are right inside the Wells Fargo Center, as you probably know. Right. And it's so cool. I mean, for a girl like me that loves hockey, what better place for me to work in an office than just pushing a door open and you're in a hockey arena, or a basketball arena too. But
so do you ever get to leave the studio and watch the game out in the arena?
Yes. Yeah. So the night of Flyers games that are home, we will most of the time, me and my analysts will get done with pregame and just go out and watch the opening, national anthem and lineup announcements and everything like that. And it's just so cool to just walk straight out of the studio and just push the door open and watch it. And a lot of times too, my producer, we'll be watching the game, and there's a little bit of a delay, probably like a 10-second delay in our lounge that we watch the game in, because we don't watch the whole game in arena. And Joe will just be like, "Yep, I heard a horn." We could hear the goal horn, so we know a Flyers goal is coming. It's really funny. I haven't gotten that part yet. I don't know how he hears it, but yeah.
Maybe
he's just like a horn.
Not an earpiece, huh? He must have good hearing.
No, I never could hear it. But
now, were you a Wild fan growing up?
Yes, the whole fam. But for me, my brother's going to camps and everything. There's a photo with Darby Hendrickson and everything else, going into different locker rooms and meeting them, doing different camps. Again, I wasn't playing at that point. I just tagged along. But I still remember my first Wild game, just thinking, what is this place? It was so cool. I would have been, again, the Wild I would have been probably 10 when I went to my first game, 9 or 10, maybe even 11, which would have been, I don't know how long ago.
So now you can still root for them as long as they're not playing the Flyers?
2010, 2009. Sorry?
So now you can root for them as long as they're not playing the Flyers? Is that how it works now?
In a way. I've become...
I know how this works. I know how. I get it.
I've definitely become a Flyers fan. I think when you just get attached to these teams and meet the players and cover them so much. But yeah, I think the Wild will always have a special place in my heart, and covering a little bit of them last year. It's been fun, but definitely cheering for the Flyers when we play them. So